Lightning round questions from our fans and followers. The first question is from Dave in California. For people who can't afford gold or silver, living paycheck to paycheck, what can we do to prepare ourselves for the inevitable collapse of the dollar?
There are a number of small things that people can do. You can collect pennies and nickels. Even the nickels that they mint today, I think, are worth 6 or 7 cents. The ones that they're running off the the presses right now. The pennies, even the new pennies, have over a cent worth of zinc in them. But if you get a penny from 1981 or earlier, it's got 3 cents worth of copper in a 1 cent penny. So, you have a jar and you can throw pennies and nickels in there. Those are probably the easiest ones to save. The post office is making forever stamps. You can buy that stamp and it'll always mail a first-class letter. There's no commission. You just go and you buy them for the 43 cents. And if you don't need them to mail a letter, somebody might, and you can always barter those or sell them. They'll always have that value. So that's pretty easy. And then other things that you can do if you have the space is buy things that you think you might need in the future. Just buy them now. Go to Costco and buy, a bunch of deodorants, buy a bunch of toothpaste, buy, mouthwash, buy shaving cream, razor blades, like coffee grounds or sugar, or buy cigarettes. Even if you don't smoke, get a few cases of wine or scotch. These are things that either you're going to need or other people are going to need and want, and you'll be able to trade them or consume them.
This is from Dave in Rhode Island. If we were to transition into a commodity-backed money supply, how would lending standards be affected? And would this hinder the availability of capital to businesses and startups with little to no collateral?
No, I think the exact opposite. I think that would enhance the ability of businesses to get capital. It would certainly diminish the ability of governments and consumers to borrow, which is exactly what we want. We want capital going to entities that can actually pay it back and that can put those borrowed funds to good use. Because what would happen is certainly credit would be constricted. We wouldn't have as much credit, but it would be legitimate because it would be defined by the real store of savings in society, and the credit would therefore be allocated much more cautiously. It would go to businesses that can afford to pay what would be a higher rate of interest, but it would mean that they were investing the borrowed money productively because they would be able to generate the revenues to pay back the money.
Stacy from Philadelphia asked, every time I go to the bank to deposit a check, I get worried that I'm making a bad decision. I worry mostly about 2 things. 1, that the government can track how much money I have, and 2, the banks might go bankrupt and my money may vanish. What are some safer options for my savings that are private and recession-proof?
Real risk about the bank deposits, in my mind, is not that the bank fails and that you don't get your money, because the government already has pretty much established a precedent that they're going to bail out all the banks that fail. So you're going to get your money. That's not what the concern is. The concern is, what's it worth when you get it? What can you buy with it? And I don't know the answer to that question. I think it'll be worth a lot less, which means you can't put it in the bank, no matter how safe the deposit is because of government insurance. If you're really concerned, you're not concerned about your money. You're concerned about the purchasing power that your money represents. Remember, paper money has no intrinsic value. You only want it because you can exchange it for things that you do want, goods and services. Well, if your ability to do that is going to diminish or completely evaporate, you don't want to save it. So what the alternative would be is, yes, own silver, own gold, own foreign currencies, own real things. Don't put your money in the bank. Don't buy CDs or government bonds or municipal bonds, because I think if you do that, you're going to lose. It's just a question of how much.
John from Rhode Island wrote in, Peter, how often do you take out your physical gold and silver stacks to play with them? John calls his libertarian Legos.
Not really. I mean, I don't keep that much lying around that I'm gonna just be be a Midas and stack them up and play with it. I don't have gold and silver it's to preserve my wealth. I don't have any particular pleasure out of building stacks, and I would be afraid I might lose one. I mean, if you want to have a small portion of your precious metals in numismatics because you want a collection and you want to have some fun with your coins, I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, the last question I have for you today is actually a pretty popular question that came in from several different people. But Mike from Massachusetts asked, any chance we'll have a Congressman or Senator Schiff in 2012?
Well, there already are some. I think there's a Congressman Schiff right now. I think he's a Democrat, though. It might be. But as far as will it be Peter David Schiff, who
Yes.
currently resides in Connecticut?
Yes, that Schiff.
Yeah, I don't know. It's certainly not in my plans right now to run for office in 2012. It's not impossible, but it's not probable that I would run. So I say it'd be an outside chance. But some point along the way, 2014, 2016, 2018, is it possible? I think it's probable that at some point in my life I'll run for something. I don't know what it will be. Maybe it'll be senator. Maybe it'll be governor. I don't know. I mean, I might run for some. Maybe I'll run for House. I don't know. But I'm sure I'll do something at some point.
Good. Well, thank you everyone for sending in your questions to Peter today, and thank you for answering them and sitting down with us.
Sure.